Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Space Jam: A New Legacy. This is the newest Space Jam movie since 1996. We've had another Looney Tunes movie, another movie featuring the Looney Tunes between this time. In 2003, there was a movie called Looney Tunes Back in Action starring Brendan Fraser. Look, I am someone that loves the Looney Tunes, specifically the original animated shorts. I have all the golden collections that they released around the time, funny enough, when Looney Tunes Back in Action came out in theaters. That's when they started releasing the Looney Tunes golden collections. And since then, yeah, Bugs Bunny is one of the greatest cartoon characters of all time. I think Daffy Duck is really great too, and all the supporting cast. Now, whatever problems there are with certain characters, I don't think Pepe Le Pew is as problematic as people make him out to be. I think, yeah, there are the way they dealt with him in those old shorts might be not have aged well, but I think in recent cartoons, if people actually watch the more recent Looney Tunes stuff, like in the original Space Jam, Pepe Le Pew doesn't do any creepy things. So, I mean, I think they kind of corrected him. I don't think we have to get rid of him entirely. I just think you just continue what you were doing with him in that original Space Jam. Just don't make him sexually harass people. That's it. Same thing with. I think that was really the biggest character that got the most complaints, right? Yeah. So let's get right into this movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy. What did I think of it? I'm gonna say this as someone who really loved the original Space Jam. I think I was 13 when it came out. I'll say this: the nostalgia was there, but I thought the movie was okay overall. I do think the beginning of the movie, starting off with LeBron James and setting up his family, his relationship with his son, who is interested in making video games instead, I thought that was all good setup to what the story was going to be. It felt like as soon as he went into the Warner Brothers cyberspace, if you will, that's where I started feeling the movie falling apart a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought there was some fun stuff in the computer, but for the most part, a lot of it just felt like Warner Brothers flashing some cool images saying, hey, look at this stuff we own. They're all in this movie. And my brother at one point, my youngest brother, turned to me at one point and said, wouldn't it be cool if Disney did this, like with Marvel and Star Wars and Disney and Pixar? I'm like, oh yeah, that would be crazy. But for the most part, I think maybe Disney would do it better. I think Warner Brothers actually did do it better because there's a movie called Ready Player One, which kind of had a lot of Easter eggs and cameos, and had a much better story structured than this movie. Unfortunately, I feel like the whole Looney Tunes gone in different directions. I felt that was a little rushed and it didn't really flow well with the rest of the movie. It actually reminded me of the 2011 Muppets movie with Jason Segel, which was a very similar story, but in my opinion had a lot more heart to it. And I felt like this movie had something there that they were trying to the same kind of heart. They wanted to get that same, subtle moments, but I don't think it was structured the best way. And when we get into all these movies and cameos, the road trip to get to all these other Looney Tunes, I felt like the movie aspect felt a little rushed and sloppy. I think it could have been structured a lot better. Once we get to the actual basketball game, I thought some of that stuff was cool, but I'm also going to be honest. I felt a lot of the cameos at the game were getting my attention more than the actual game itself. Like I was more interested in checking out what characters are back there, and I was having a tough time concentrating on the actual game that was going on. Mostly because, well, when it comes to sports movies, sports movies fall into a lot of tropes. That's the honest truth about any sport movies nowadays. It's tough to really find a really good one. I think the last good one I saw was maybe Ford v Ferrari, because that didn't really concentrate more on the sport. It was concentrating on the story of the two main characters, which was Matt Damon and Christian Bale. Well, I do feel this movie was somewhat concentrating on the story between LeBron James and his son. I do think everything else kind of doesn't fit in well with that overall story, and I thought it was a little dumb when the kid got involved in the game himself and like beating his dad when he should have known that Don Cheadle wasn't a very good guy. He was a virus man or whatever, cyber variant, or I don't know what he is. Anyways, I thought Don Cheadle was great, but yeah, for the most part, there were some funny moments throughout, but there were a lot of jokes that did fall flat too. I'm not gonna lie, and this is a spoiler video. I should have maybe mentioned that also. My favorite joke in the movie, though, has to be the Michael B. Jordan cameo that shows up in the movie. When they were teasing Michael Jordan coming back, there was one part where they teased that Michael Jordan is coming. Sylvester is like, "Hey, you guys should see who I got," and there's this shadow coming. You could tell the guy's bald or doesn't have too much hair, and he's coming. They're building it up. All the tunes are getting excited. I'm getting excited. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to have the biggest team up of all time. And then it turns out to be Michael B. Jordan. But I'll be honest, I thought that was the funniest joke in the entire movie, and I loved it. Other than that, look, when they went to DC World, they technically went to two DC worlds. They went to the cartoon verse, which was fun. It was cool seeing the Superman animated series designs and some of the Justice League Unlimited animated series designs. But then they go to the comic book world, which was Wonder Woman. And I thought, why was that a choice? Because now you're just giving us two cartoon DC worlds. And what they should have really done was make the Wonder Woman maybe the live action Wonder Woman and have Gal Gadot show up and cameo. That's what I thought would have been better. And then with Matrix and Austin Powers, those worlds, they kind of just, it's archive footage. And then you get to Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, they just whisk by it. And I'm like, man, it would have been fun to see all those worlds. There is a nice little cameo for Rick and Morty fans. I'm not a Rick and Morty fan. I never seen Rick and Morty, although I heard how great it is, and I've been even more interested in checking it out, especially now that Michael Waldron, who wrote Loki, was the producer, who was the showrunner of Loki, was also the showrunner on Rick and Morty. So I'll admit, Loki has made me interested in checking out Rick and Morty. It was a nice cameo since I was aware of who they were, but I think it would have been more effective to me if I actually did watch Rick and Morty. With that being said, look, this movie is okay. I didn't hate it like I hated Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry was a disaster of a film. That was probably that's probably the worst movie I have seen this year. I tried to avoid terrible movies. This was not terrible. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine for what it was. I had a good time. If I were to rate it out of 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10. I'd give it a passable rating. I think it's good for the kids. Kids will definitely probably enjoy this, and I hope so. I want kids to discover the Looney Tunes, because I know a lot of kids today won't go back and rewatch those old Looney Tune cartoons, which I think are golden. If you are an older fan of the Looney Tunes like myself, I am actually going to suggest not Space Jam: A New Legacy. I would actually suggest the new Looney Tune cartoons, which is called Looney Tune Cartoons, which is on HBO Max. In Canada, I found it on iTunes, at least half of the season. I'm waiting for iTunes to release the rest, because I really love that golden era of Looney Tunes, and I feel this new cartoon actually captures the true spirit of those original Looney Tunes. So if you are someone like myself that loves the original Looney Tunes, I would suggest watching that. This is not going to get you to see the Looney Tunes in their true state. I think this is I don't think the Looney Tunes, I'm starting to realize I don't think the Looney Tunes were made for movies. Even though I like the original Space Jam a lot, even that movie isn't a perfect movie, but I enjoy it. I love it for what it was. Maybe it was the kid in me at the time. I was only 13 years old when that original film came out. So maybe I'm just watching this new movie with more adult eyes, and the original movie I still have the nostalgia for it. But it's nothing that will hurt. Like for me, I don't think this is like a movie that will insult your intelligence. It's just a fun little movie that just like what our parents probably thought when we watched the original Space Jam. It's a fun. Even my parents, they said they liked the original one a little bit more, so maybe that does say something. But they enjoyed this one as well. They thought it was fine for what it was. So we all happen to enjoy it. So if you love the original Space Jam, definitely check it out. If you love the Looney Tunes, this might not reach its potential, but as I suggested, you know where the actual Looney Tune cartoons to go look for. They were always meant to be shorts because that's what they were designed for, and I maybe that's what they're best at. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys can like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I also want to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters. These are the Patreon supporters that support this channel and that want to see me succeed and grow. And there is a $5 tier and a $10 tier. And both of these tiers are they'll get you the same exact thing by getting a credit at the end of each video that I do. And yeah, it's just to help out if you can. The $10 one for now is just there. If you can give me a little bit more, it would be very much appreciated. I already appreciate the $5 tier subscriptions because that's what I expected. But I thought, you'll never know. Maybe someone will feel sorry for me and help out if they can. But if you can't, I get it. We're all in financial debt and stuff with this whole pandemic. People are losing their jobs. I understand completely if you don't want to or if you can't. We're all in the same boat. But yeah, when I lived with my parents, I used to help out with some Kickstarter campaigns and stuff like that. And if I still lived with my parents, you definitely bet I would be helping with other people's Patreon pages, but I can't now. Now I'm in that role where now I need to ask people for help. So hopefully that can happen one day. If not, look, I'll take what I can get, and if 4 people are the best that I can get, then that's the best. And I thank those 4 people very much because it shows that at least you guys were able to help out, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. And with that being said, now I want to end this video by saying subscribe to my channel if you can. That also helps the channel. Sharing each video that you watch also helps this channel a lot. And watching the videos and liking the videos also helps this channel a lot. So if you've done that, then thank you very much for that too. So that's the best some people can do, and I appreciate that. Thank you. With that being said, now I'm ready to log off. Until next time, everybody, tell me your thoughts on Space Jam, A New Legacy. Tell me your thoughts on the Looney Tunes. Take care.
That's all, folks.